So what we've been talking about this week at Cattywampus Acres is having this being your first successful gardening year, your first vegetable garden where you have complete success. It's going to be great. And what we did is on our short videos here, we started a little broccoli plant. And so what our goal is, and what my goal is this week to show you, is that no matter if you're growing one plant in the window of your apartment, or if you're in a subdivision and you just have a raised bed or two, or if you live somewhere where you can have a full in-ground garden, we're going to show you how you can be successful at gardening. It's going to be so basic, and what we're trying to do is combat some of these prices we're seeing at the grocery store and the food shortages and food crisis that we're sort of experiencing here, certainly in the United States, with rising costs of food and goods and seeing them in less supply. Welcome back to Cattywampus Acres. I'm Jason. We love having you here. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the channel. It's great to have you. If you're already part of our Cattywampus crew, welcome back. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button right down below and the bell right next to it so you can keep up to date with everything we are doing here on the farm. And make sure you check us out on all the other platforms, Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Follow us on all those other ones. And we do a lot of short form content so you can share those videos. And they're very simple. They're only 1 minute long, and you can share those with your friends and family and people who you think want to learn more about homesteading. So let's get into growing. All right, so I've got some seeds laid out that we are planning on planting, and I do have to order some more. What I wanted to do is use up some of our supply that we didn't use from last year. So the seeds should be good. We've kept them in a little binder thing inside the house, so shouldn't have any problems with them. So let's show you what we are going to actually be planting. Majority of our seeds are going to be our Haas seeds, and we have a link down below that you can go check out Haas yourself, and you can see all the seeds that they have to offer. They have a ton of stuff. So right here we have the Green Magic Broccoli. This has been by far one of our favorites that we've ever grown. They grow these big old heads. They're very cold, heat hardy, and everything. They are 55 days to maturity. These are brassicas. These are really good to plant this time of year. This Candid Charm cauliflower, we've done well with this previously as well. This is 65 days maturity, so just a little bit longer. This Blue Ridge Kale always seems to be very successful for us. We eat this stuff forever during the year, and once we get it growing, dude, we just keep it going until the heat just smokes it out. We just keep it going. It says 65 days of maturity. It sounds about right. But like I said, we'll just keep that growing, and we'll just break off leaves off the plants as we need them, and then just keep eating. Screwed up last year. I didn't get to try these, so I sort of killed off some seeds, and these are one of the things that we didn't actually get to harvest. It's the Rio Grande red cabbage. I want to try some of our own sauerkraut this year. We're going to try and do some fermented foods this year, and I'd like to try it with some of this red cabbage. We're also, once again, going to try Brussels sprouts. I never seem to be overly successful with these. You're supposed to do them in fall. I've done them in both spring and fall, and I never seem to be able to get the cool chill that they need. So we're gonna give it a try. I mean, I grow a big old plant and then never really get any sprouts off of it. Swiss chard. This is only 55 days maturity. This is the Bright Lights. This stuff's really good. It's like a rainbow chard. We have some other kale that I just need to get rid of, so I'll just plant a bunch of it. So if you're one of our local friends, hit us up. We'll give you some of our kale seed starts because we'll probably have too many. This, I'm not going to plant today. This is just a sweet salad mix. This is for a project for Ellory. She wanted to, she's doing something for FFA, so we're going to do this separately, and we'll probably show you that video. Carrots, we have carrots. Carrots will not be started in today, basically. Here's the deal with carrots. You should either overwinter them or plant them when the ground's better. They need to go directly in the ground because they are a root vegetable. And I am going to get some jalapenos started. We grow jalapenos really good here, and no matter what anybody says, they say to not prune your peppers or to prune them. I'm telling you right now, we prune these. We've pruned them and not pruned them. When we prune them, we get 10 times as many. So people can say what they want. I don't care where they are in the world. I don't care what their job title is or what expert they are. I am telling you, firsthand experience, in the dirt at Cattywampus Acres, when we prune jalapenos, we get 10 times as many. So we're going to be planting some of these as well. Of course, we're going to start with our Prop Tech. This is our 162 cell tray. These things are awesome. And we can start a whole bunch of seeds in these, and they're really easy to carry around and take with you when you're planting. You can also get these at Haas as well. I got some seed starting mix. Got a couple twigs and berries in here. I did dampen it. It's a mix, basically. I'll tell y'all what I put in here. I put a little bit of this. This is mainly for Ellory's project. You can get your own seed starting mix from a million different places, and I would recommend finding the ones that you like the most. I also have some peat moss. I'm not going to pick that bag up because it'll fling dust everywhere. So there's some peat moss in here. There is some vermiculite in here, and there's some perlite. All this makes for a really good seed starting mix. Choose what you want. Here's why we use seed starting mixes. They have really fine, except for that right there, they have really fine, it's really fine dirt. It's screened, so that makes it easy for these really tiny little precious seedlings to start and not get weighed down. Another big important thing about seed starting mix is it's fairly sterile. I'm sure if you were in some kind of a predicament, and if it was like an apocalyptic time or something, you could definitely start with some dirt from your ground, but you're definitely going to get weeds that way. So the nice thing is you don't want your seedlings to have to compete with weeds at all. So that's what we don't have growing in our seed starting mix. That's why it's important that it be sterile. So if you have the option, get yourself a good seed starting mix, mix your own, whatever you want to do. It really does not take that long. I will say peat moss by itself repels the heck out of water. So what you'll find is when you're trying to dampen just straight peat moss, it will, like, the water will just run off it. So it's a little bit more of a pain in the butt. Where these seed starting mixes, specifically like vermiculite and stuff like that, are able to absorb the water a lot better. And then the perlite in here does a really good job of making space for the water to sort of hang out and drain when it needs to drain and not drain when it doesn't need to drain. Okay, I do want to address this seed starting tray here, this 162 cell tray. We have several of these and they work very, very good for us, but they are a little pricey for a beginner gardener. I will not lie. What I will say is this: if you're not going to plant this many seeds, use solo cups with holes in the bottom. The drainage in the bottom is actually what's most important. And right now, if you're wondering what I'm doing, it's called dibbling. And so I'm just putting little holes, little dents in the seed starting mix where we're going to drop our seeds. These are very small seeds, so it's not going to be really deep dibble or anything like that. If we were planting like something like squash or something, they would be a little bit deeper. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is a recycled Bonnie seed starting thing. It's got holes in the bottom. That's what our broccoli is started in. You can check that out on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, all that stuff. So this is what we started in. This could very easily be a solo cup or any kind of plastic cup. The key is just having the drainage in the bottom. So don't think like you can't start gardening if you don't have one of these. They also, for like $5, sell like 72 cell trays, which work pretty good as well. We're going to do our broccoli first. And what we're going to do is we're going to shoot for about 2 seeds per cell. And if they end up all germinating, we will then thin them once they start to pop up. We'll thin the weaker ones. And you may be asking, am I going to use this many? I don't know. Maybe I'll give some away. But ultimately, it depends on how many actually germinate. And germination is basically your seed being turning into a plant. And a seedling, when they come up, you'll see, and if you follow with us, they're only about this big. And so some of these seeds, just because they're nature, some of them will not germinate, and that is what it is. We just plant a bunch of extras, so we have a bunch just in case some don't make it as well. So we are gonna put, this one is, put a GM Brock. And my handwriting is terrible, and so that's that. All right, next we'll get into our cauliflower. Same as the first, we just don't have as many seeds, so we'll just do, like I said, just a couple on each one. So what I'd like to hear from y'all in the comments is what are some good recipes you have for brassicas? Brassicas include broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, several other things. But give us some recipes that you have for your broccoli and cauliflower that maybe is a little bit out of the ordinary. I mean, some people probably just get the stalks out of the refrigerator and just chop them off. But I want to hear some good recipes. I want to try something new with y'all's ideas. All right, there goes our Candid Charm cauliflower. I used to hate cabbage as a kid, and now I really, really enjoy it. But I really like it as fermented. I like it as a sauerkraut. That is probably my favorite way to eat cabbage. Also, if you have any good fermenting recipes, let us know those as well. We're going to try fermenting peppers this year. That's what I've been wanting to try that for years. All right, next we'll get into our Blue Ridge kale. I think we have a lot of these. We'll see how many of these we plant. These have 96% germ rate. So when they were tested last year, so that's pretty good. And then germ rate just basically tells us when they tested them at Haas, how many, what percentage of them actually became seedlings. So if you've ever wondered that, that is what it means. So as we finish out this tray here, let's talk about our food crisis situation. If you've been to the grocery store lately, you've probably seen the price of eggs and vegetables and meat. It's pretty outrageous if you ask me. And I'm sure probably a lot of you experience that. Maybe some of you are not. I've seen a lot of comments where people say basically there's no change for them, which makes me think sometimes maybe it's a little regional. What we're used to here, our food supply here in the United States, what we found out recently is a lot more scarce than we thought it was. We used to think, I think a lot of people just go to a full grocery store down the road from them and they're like, hey, I'm good forever. I think we've seen over the last few years that it can go away just like that. And that's what we're trying to do here at Cattywampus Acres. We are just trying to encourage people to grow either a little bit, some or all of their own food, and you can do it. A lot of people will tell you that you can't, and whether that be a friend, family member, or someone from the government telling you you can't do it, I promise you, you can. Specifically, if it's vegetables. I know we got a lot of comments with our egg videos where people are like, well, I just can't have chickens. I live in the city. I have an HOA. I get it. That sucks. What I will say is, majority of people, almost all, no matter where you're at, can grow a vegetable or two. I promise y'all, it is not that hard. It is really easy. And if you follow along with us over the next few weeks, we will show you just how you can start your own food supply right now. All right, so we finished this tray out with planting. So now I'm gonna take some vermiculite, because this stuff is really light and sterile, and I'm just gonna top these seeds off here. So basically when they start to come up, there's something for them to grab onto, but it's not like smothering them out. Like if you were to put like clay down on these, not that anybody would do that, but some really heavy dirt, that would cause some issues. Perlite is another thing that we can use, and maybe I'll do a little bit of both. But yeah, we're just gonna do a light coating of this vermiculite on here. And another thing, I'm always experimenting. So maybe I'll do vermiculite and perlite as an experiment. You can also just use your seed starting mix to top it off. Just make sure you pay attention to how deep everything's supposed to be. And if it says a 1/4 inch, don't grind that seed way down into the soil and then bury it really deep and expect a seed to come out, because it's going to be really, really hard for them to do that. All right, here's our perlite. And like I said, a little experiment. And it is really good for retaining moisture. So it'll probably keep your seeds a little bit more moist and you won't maybe have to water as much. Tell me what the next step is. Water, you're right. Let's get these seeds watered. All right, we got our really janky watering can here, and I've put our seeds up in the window of our greenhouse. If you are starting seeds and you don't have a greenhouse, you can certainly keep them inside in a warm place. Probably this time of year, as long as we keep these moderate temperatures in this greenhouse, it stays in the, I don't know, 60s-ish right now without any added heat from a heater. If it gets really, really cold, we will bring a heater in there. That is something to think about. You can definitely, if you don't have a greenhouse, which I understand a lot of people don't, you could start these in a windowsill. So here's what I want you to remember, a couple things. The water that you're using, really, y'all, does not matter that much. People have hard water, soft water. I've gotten a lot of questions about that, like saying that their plants aren't growing because of whatever kind of water they have. I don't think that's the issue. I know people with well water, city water, bottled water, everything. It's gonna, if you're having issues where nothing's growing, there's something else going on. It's not gonna be your water. The other thing I want to talk about is what do we need for germination? We need warmth and moisture. And so right behind the camera, which you cannot see, I have some heat mats. If these were something else, like for the peppers, I'll probably use the heat mats. For these, I will not. 60 to 70 degrees is perfectly fine for broccolis, cauliflowers, cabbage, that kind of stuff for germination. Once the seed pops up, once that little seedling, once you see it, and if you follow along with us, we'll go through that whole process. But when you see that popping up, you gotta have sunlight, okay? That's very, very important. Another thing is you don't want to get these kind of seeds right here overly hot. If you get them into the 90 to 100 range, 100 degrees Fahrenheit that is, you're probably going to just burn these things out and nothing will happen. So we pay attention in this greenhouse. We're in here every day, and if it were to get really hot in here, I would open the vents and let some air flow through to cool it down, or could put a fan in here, something like that. So that is something to remember. You can actually cook these types of seeds fairly easy. They're sort of tender, so that's something that you definitely want to remember. So as I finish out this last tray and the video for this week, I really just want to talk to you all about these food shortages and stuff like that, and let you know that you can be the difference for your family. You can definitely grow your own food. Don't let anybody, no matter who they are, scare you when it comes to food. I will say, don't be foolish about it. Don't just always rely on the grocery store for all of your needs, but don't be so scared that you never start. You've probably killed a few plants before. Yeah, so have I. You've probably had a plant that was doing really good and it just died for whatever reason because of the weather. Yeah, us too. But we never stop growing. We always, always, always keep growing, keep raising our animals, and keep doing what we need to do to help our family be just even a little bit more self-sufficient. Now, this is by no means a guilt trip if you have no other option but to go to the store. I don't want you to think that at all. I just always want us to be an encouragement to you and your family to be just a little bit more or entirely self-sufficient. So, and with that being said, what we always say here is, when you homestead, you homestead. And we truly believe that, and we hope you will too. We'll see you guys on the next one.